where Telecoms billionaire Bassim Haidar is standing by to focus on the challenges and intricacies of building and managing a large business in Africa and the Middle East. Bassim, thank you so much for joining us today. One wonders how you might have made your billions at such a young age of 42, but maybe if you tell us about how you started City One Group.
Basically started, I was born in Africa, I was born in Nigeria, so I pretty much knew the terrain very well and started in Nigeria initially back in '91, benefiting from gaps in the market in the telecom sector. And obviously with GSM coming in very strongly, and especially in Nigeria, we capitalized on that, offering services from the infrastructure to value-added services and so on. And from there, use Nigeria as a platform basically to expand to 13 African countries.
Maybe I need to reiterate its Channel It Group, but let's touch on Nigeria. You have been recorded as saying that you are very bullish on the Nigerian economy and that they're actually at a transformation phase. How so?
Well, you know, I wouldn't say Nigeria is the best kept secret anymore, because everyone knows the secret is out there now and everyone is trying to get into the Nigerian market. But growing there, knowing the terrain very well, and at the same time understanding what the market actually needs. I always come up with solutions of what the market requires from the inside out, rather than trying to apply best practices abroad and bring them into the territory. So we continue to invest heavily into the Nigerian market. Now we've seen obviously voice revenues drop, but this is only the beginning of new services on microfinance, on mobile advertising and so on, and there's a huge boom area to come in this sector. And based on this, we've actually invested a large amount of money both in human capital, in technologies developed in Africa, and hopefully in the next 2 years we're going to see a huge climb in these areas.
You're saying some areas of the rest of Africa, the Middle East, as well as some closer to Europe, the different nuances in doing business in these regions. Where are the laggards? Where are the business-friendly environments that you've worked in?
Look, you know, Africa cannot be seen as just Africa in itself. Every single country has got obviously its own cultures, its own rules and regulations. Now, of course, some countries are extremely tough to work in, with a lot of red tape and bureaucracy and so on. But again, that's just part of the game. Where there's big barriers for entry is where we like to go, because we find the biggest opportunities actually lay there. People are sort of turned off from these opportunities, and we actually like to go there. We carry, you know, our baggage, we go there, we sit in those countries, understand the culture, understand who the players are, and we found great success, be it from East Africa, be it countries in the West, in the southern region of Africa. In the Middle East, obviously, again, big cultural differences. We've had to adapt to those cultures. But the best way to adapt is to actually hire and grow people from within that region that understand how business is done in these regions. And we continue to grow. I mean, we launched the Middle East just 2 years ago. We're already operating fully in 5 countries. So overall, we're going to hit 25 countries by the end of this year between Africa and the Middle East.
As you may have alluded to, you had very humble beginnings, and I want to pick your brain on entrepreneurship, given the fact that it was Global Entrepreneurship Week. And you've been quoted as saying that your advice to young entrepreneurs is to set a dream no matter how unrealistic it is, and just start. Get jogging, get running, and start running towards your dream and see how far it can go. What's the key flaw with young entrepreneurs in your interactions with them across the globe? What's the one typical mistake that they so often make?
I think they actually do several mistakes. One of them is they give up too easily. You know, today I've run a lot of successful businesses, everything I've started, but in reality I also failed a lot. And every time I failed, I never questioned why I failed. I just said, next time I'm going to do better. Some businesses that I even started actually failed at the beginning, but then I found the one unique formula that made it a success. And I find, even when I talk to my own people and I say, if you fall once, that's just the beginning. You need to get up, you need to keep running, and eventually you will get there. And this has always worked. Now, from a more a realistic approach, yes, there are external factors and internal factors. External factors is you got to be there at the right time, at the right place. You got to have the right tools. You got to understand what the country needs that you're operating in. A lot of entrepreneurs see an idea and they try to adapt it differently, thinking different works. And that's the single biggest mistake I've seen them do, is just tweaking an idea doesn't necessarily mean it's going to make it better. If something is working but not working good, then that's a different story. You can build on that, you can try and improve, but don't change a radical idea thinking that's going to change or make it more of a success.